So how do we become the carriers of fire? Ephesians chapter 6 verse 10 to 12. Number 1. Be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. Be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. Next verse. Put on what? The whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the vials of darkness. Carriers of fire must put on the armor of God. For you to be able to stand against the principalities of darkness in our catchment, we must put on the armor of God. The armor of God. That means the fight we are fighting, the battle we are engaging, is the battle to wrestle. It's not a battle to cast out demons, because Daniel began to wrestle with the prince in the realms of the spirit. When he began to pray in that realm, a portal opened and he saw what was going on. A fight was going on as he was praying in tongues of the spirit. He was praying. Little did he know that his prayer have ignited the fire of God to go above the heavenlies. And then Michael showed up and began to do what? To fight. Put on the whole armor of God. Put on the whole armor of God. That is to say, there is a wrestling that takes place, and the only way to win that wrestling is to put on the whole armor of God. For we do what? We wrestle not against principality, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against what? Principalities. So bondage is not the way of Nebuchadnezzar. Bondage of darkness in Australia is not the way of the premiers of our cities. Bondage in Australia is not the way of the Prime Minister. Bondage in New Zealand is not the way of the Prime Minister of New Zealand. Neither bondage in the island nations is not the way of the President or the Prime Ministers or the local government personnel. But bondage is the way of the prince that sits in that territory to regulate the lives of men. That is where we define bondage. So the only way to win is to exercise our believers' authority by doing what? Verse 11. How do you exercise? The whole armor. Put on the whole armor of God. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the vials of darkness. Let's read verse 13. What is it saying? Therefore take unto you the what? The whole armor of God. It's repeating again. That ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, stand. So there is an evil day for every man. There is a time when it will seem as if all hell is loose. You will turn to the right, turn to the left. It seems as if nothing is working, and then you stand because you have the whole armor of God. So if you faint in the days of your trouble, if you faint in the days of that challenge, if you faint in the days of your adversity, the Bible said your strength is small. And when your strength is small, it means that you have not put on the whole armor of God. Next verse 14. He says, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth. What is truth? The truth of the word of God. He said, and having the breastplate of righteousness. With the truth of the word of God, you don't negotiate righteousness. It expresses itself because the truth of the word of God is one of the armor of God that you put in. So when the prince want to x-ray, he will not have anything to hold you. That is when you can rekindle the fire of God.